Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Olympic soccer has officially begun.
And it has begun. The first day of, at least the women's games have begun. An exciting, exciting day. We're going to probably go through this pretty fast because we want this video to come out pretty fast. But wild day, exciting. All 12 teams played today. And Sarah and I just got done watching the U.S. women's national team versus Zambia. Anytime the Olympics come around, I'm extra patriotic.
Yeah, totally. Of course. I mean, you gotta rep your country.
But I saw a lot of USA fans there, so very exciting. But we're going to start, and by the title, we're going to talk about a few things. I mean, what's going on, Canada?
Drone gate.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that in a sec. We're not going to spend too much time on it, but that's a wild situation. But very first day, I guess what we'll do is we'll go through some of the games, and then we'll talk about USA versus Zambia. So timestamps down below. We're just going to briefly hit on these games. We will start with Canada because that's first on my list, and I think that was the first game that kicked off this morning. But 2-1 over New Zealand. This has nothing to do with the drone situation because the players had nothing to do with it. But happy to see Canada win. Did you really need the drone, coaches?
I guess not.
But 2-1, and most people thought that was going to be the outcome, that Canada was going to get a win from that game anyway. So I mean, there's a lot going on with that. Second game, Spain versus Japan. Spain beating Japan. I mean, I think a lot of people have Spain to win the gold medal, and I think a lot of people think Japan, if they really put together something, they could make a run at a medal. But Spain is the team to beat. I didn't watch the whole match. I just watched snippets. But Spain is actually going through a bit of adjustment, but they look good and they beat Japan. This is the game that I think shocked most people. I would say out of all the games today, there was not a lot of shocking games. Every team that was supposed to win on paper, I think, won. But the way Germany beat Australia 3-0 today was a bit shocking. 3-0. Germany actually looked pretty good. Germany is one of those teams that the analysis I've seen around the web is you don't ever know what you're going to get with a German team sometimes. Sometimes it's going to be lights out, and sometimes they're not going to look amazing. But Australia did not look good at all. Most people thought they were going to put in a better fight today, but most people are just saying they looked really tired. They looked like unorganized. No one had any, they were gassed out there. I'm going to read a couple of these comments.
Lots to learn. Germany were outstanding, and we were outplayed today. Get them next time, Tillies.
So a lot of people were, optimistic, but and then some people were kind of like this.
Don't sugarcoat it. That was bad. The result is one thing, but the performance was terrible. Give social media a rest, girls. Accept the criticism and put your heads down and salvage this campaign.
Then we had some people like that who really didn't mince words.
Deplorable result. Poor tactics and performance all over the pitch. Too loose, very slow, and no options. Difficult to get out of the group now. Tony out. Come on, girls.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I'm kind of reading these ones is because that's on their Instagram. That's what I mostly saw. But a lot of people were optimistic. A lot of people said maybe, like we've talked about, maybe coming from Australia. I don't know what day they got to Europe, but maybe they were tired from travel. I don't know. They just did not look like the Australia a lot of people were expecting.
Australia's a far plane ride anywhere you go, right? So
I think they're coming back in their next game. They play Zambia next, and I think they're going to be fired up from this. I think they're going to take this and say, we're not, we're going to show them. But great to see Germany do well because I do root for them as well. Then the France-Colombia game, that was kind of a wild game too. France were leading 3-0, and Colombia came back and scored 2 goals. They made a run to have a tie. France did hold them off, but I think they might even be the team to beat because of the hometown crowd. I really think that hometown crowd means so much, and the French really do have a solid team. Myra Ramirez actually did get a red card in that game too, so that didn't help Colombia. But we know Colombia is a team. They're feisty. We know that. Mm-hmm. And they are not going to give up. And that's a team that scares me too. So we're not in their group, but one more game. Brazil versus Nigeria. That was 1-0 Brazil. And both tough teams, you know. There had been a lot of criticism from the Brazilian team about some of the players they decided to take to the Olympics and who to keep home. A lot of people thought Debinha should have been selected for the team and others, but Brazil in any tournament is going to be scary. Marta with an assist, and by the analysis, I didn't really watch this game, but by the analysis I saw, she is playing amazing. It's her last international tournament, but I mean, she looks better than 90% of the players out there, 95% of the players out there, and it's sad that era is going to come to an end pretty soon.
Yeah, love to see Marta out there killing it because we love her.
Yeah, I love her. Okay, what did everyone think about the games that happened? Anything surprise you? Anything not surprise you? I actually, when I looked at the scores, I didn't watch all the games. Nothing surprised me based on the scores. You know, I didn't see any upsets. I thought everything looked pretty predictable, you know. Yeah. But we just got done watching the USA versus Zambia. And going into this game, I was nervous. Zambia, Barbara Banda, I mean, they don't have the most organized team, but they have a few really talented players. First and foremost, Jaden Shaw, leg injury, was swapped out for Croy Bethune, which we know is not an easy swap. You have to be looked out by the IOC doctor. You have to look out by your own team doctor. You have to, you know, so it's not just you're out, you're in. So, you know, is that concerning? To some people, yeah. I don't think so. Croy Bethune didn't get into this game. Then going into the game, so we knew that Jaden Shaw was out. But going into the game, I mean,
the U.S. women's soccer team opened the Paris Olympics with an easy win over Zambia.
Yeah, and a lot of the headlines I saw were easy win, decisive win, things like that. And although that is true, that first 25 minutes, although that's when all the scoring happened, that was a wild 25 minutes.
Yeah, it was wild.
It was that first, there was a couple sequences where it was like ping pong on the crossbar.
Yeah, God, there's so many close calls, and it was like the U.S. was so close until they finally did, you know, connect and make it happen.
Yeah, there was a wild sequence where there was like 3 blocks of a shot, then the goalie, then a defender, and we thought they were scoring, and then they didn't. Maybe one of those should have gone in, but they didn't.
I thought I changed the channel and suddenly we were watching ping pong.
Table tennis.
Or table tennis for the Olympics.
Yeah, it was wild. And some people thought maybe a couple of those chances should have been put away. But eventually the first goal was scored, I believe, in the 17th minute from TRIN, Trinity Rodman. Beautiful goal. You really, really felt good about that. You know, it was a matter of time because the way the chances were kind of coming up. But beautiful goal. I think that kind of settled everyone. Okay, we're 1 up. We got this. Because the Zambian team, you know, in a way didn't have anything to lose. You know, they're obviously the underdogs, but it's kind of like they really went out there. They were focused. They weren't the most, you know, they weren't the most organized, but they really weren't letting up either. Then 2 more goals by Mal Swanson.
Very similar goals, too. I thought I was watching an instant replay.
Yeah, they were back-to-back. Mallory Swanson followed with a rapid-fire back-to-back goals to establish an early commanding lead. I'm not quite sure what minutes those were. I don't have them in front of me, but I will put that on the screen. But back-to-back. And at that minute, I'm telling you this, I thought it was going to be 7-0. I really did.
Yeah, I did, too. I really did.
Then this is where the Olympic spirit in me came to have emotions, because I don't know what minute this was either. I don't have that in front of me, but one of the defenders, her name was Pauline Zulu, she was given a yellow card while defending the USA's Sophia Smith. After video review, the yellow card was upgraded to a red, leaving Zambia with just 10 players. And that was also kind of confusing. At first it was yellow. Then we're like, okay, what are they doing? Are they seeing if it's a PK? What's going? And all of a sudden he comes out with a red card out of his pocket. I was like,
I was shook. I mean, it was rough for Zambia. It was definitely rough. And actually, it was kind of sad. I hated seeing that red. And she was sad too. I mean, I didn't like it.
And that's what I'm talking about, the Olympic spirit as well, just like you're saying. She started crying and I was like, no, don't do it, please. Don't do it, please.
Take it back. Yes. Take it back, Jack.
I felt so bad for her because she was crying. I hate to see anyone cry, but she was really upset. And I feel like she felt like she let her team down, which she didn't. It's just part of the game. But I felt so bad for her. And I did see on social media, a lot of people were saying, softest red I've ever seen, not deserved. But apparently the rule is, I saw this on Twitter.
It was only a red card because there's a rule in soccer where if you are the last defender and you make a tackle, regardless of the level of aggression of said tackle, it is an automatic red card. Who makes these rules, honestly?
Yeah, and apparently that coincides with it being a dog SOOO, which is
upgraded to a red card for dog SOOO, which is denying of obvious goal scoring opportunity. Zulu is sent off and very emotional. Feels like it's about to go from rough to extremely rough for Zambia.
Yeah, you know what? I thought it was going to be, after that, I thought it was going to be 10-0 again. But it wasn't. And that, I was almost, obviously we're rooting for America, but I was happy to see them not get crushed down.
We'll be honest. We were low-key rooting for Zambia. The players, not the coach, of course. Ugh.
Yeah. So at that point, same, the tweet said, I thought it was going to get rough, but it didn't. The rest of the match, they were down to 10 players. Obviously, Zulu can't play the next match. I believe that's the same rules in Olympics, but they were down 10 players. And I'm kind of jumping ahead here, but that was it. The United States did not score again. Obviously, Zambia didn't score either. But I mean, the fact that USA did not score, I think meant a lot. Now, Lindsay Horan and Trinity Rodman were subbed off pretty early in the second half. And a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot of people were surprised by that, but I think a lot of people liked to see that because that meant that they were up a player. They're up 3 goals. Why not give them more rest time? So they're fresher for the game against Germany. So a lot of people did like seeing that as well. But, the second half, they didn't score. A lot of people are saying that it looked like the team overall was kind of on the idea of energy management. Hey, we're already going to probably win this game. Why go full on? We're going to win. Let's not work ourselves, let's not work ourselves down, or however you would say that. Let's not overwork ourselves. We have this. It's going good.
And let's try not to get injured the very first game, because that'd be bad.
Actually, I'm glad you brought that up because in the 40th minute, I believe it was about the 40th minute, Sophia Smith was subbed out and Lynn Williams came in, but Sophia Smith was subbed out. We don't quite know the extent of her injury. It did not look serious. I think it was more precautionary, but that's scary. So we need Sophia Smith, but I think she's okay, but I think it was precautionary. And I did see a lot of people kind of saying everything was great, but the second half, what was up with that second half? Second half was terrible. A lot of people thought the second half, but then I guess the argument could be with that team against Zambia, scoring a goal at that point, you should have scored at least a couple goals, maybe with, Zambia's team, one player down,
Hey, maybe they felt bad. No, I'm just joking.
Just like we did when Zulu was crying, yeah. So, but that was the game. I think overall it was good, but, that second half, was it them conserving energy or were they really having problems? We're not talking about it in this video, but someone was talking about the midfield in the second half. I saw a comment and a lot of people are saying Korbin Albert's no good. You bring her on the team after she said those horrible things, and retweeted those horrible things. She's no good. But I don't know much about soccer analysis, but I know she didn't look good. That's how much I know about the situation. So to bring on a player who did some problematic things and she's not even that good. I don't know. She didn't play well today. It was a problem. Now, could she tomorrow make the winning goal and everything be fine? Maybe, but to bring on a player who's not even that good in comparison to all her teammates, it is kind of frustrating as a fan, you know what I mean? Given all the circumstances. So, what did everyone think about USA versus Zambia? It's going to be tough. If USC sees the same German team that the Australians saw, hey, it's going to be tough. But USA, I thought, looked good. And more positives than negatives. But that first half, 3 goals within 25 minutes. We were rocking,
Yeah, it was wild stuff.
Yeah. The very last thing we're going to talk about, we're not even going to talk about this for very long, but
Canadian women's soccer team caught spying on opponent with drone ahead of Olympics. Don't cheat, folks. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's like, we're not going to spend that lot long on it, but
2 staff members of the Canadian women's Olympic soccer team have been sent home following an investigation over a spy drone incident earlier this week. On Monday, days before Canada and New Zealand would play their Olympic opener, a drone was spotted flying over the New Zealand women's soccer team training session in Saint Etienne, France. So sorry if I said that wrong. New Zealand staffers reported the drone to French authorities, who later detained the operator, Joseph Lombardi, a non-accredited analyst working with Canada Soccer. The Canadian Olympic Committee confirmed Lombardi had used a drone to record New Zealand's training session and issued an apology on Wednesday. The committee added that Lombardi and Jasmine Mander, the assistant who oversees Lombardi, were being removed from the team and sent home. The rest of Canada's soccer staff will undergo mandatory ethics training.
And then actually Bev Priestman was suspended for the game today against New Zealand. But this is disheartening. There is this thought of, if Canada's worried about New Zealand, they got bigger problems. There's big problems because there's no, New Zealand's a great team, but spying on a team, especially New Zealand, it's like, what's going on? I feel bad for the players. The players obviously had nothing to do with this. They knew nothing about it. And now the whole Canada organizations, now they just look bad. And
yeah, they're giving Canada a bad name.
Yeah. And it's like, has this happened before? Have they cheated before? Have they, to be honest, I think cheating happens every day in every sport to some extent. I really, truly think it does. But this is just, I feel bad for the Canadian fans, for the Canadian players.
Sarah loves to cheat at air hockey, at table air hockey.
I do cheat at air hockey.
I've never got over that.
I see comments. We all have to remember that this is completely the staff's fault, not the Canadian players. As a Canadian, it saddened me to hear that your Canadian soccer team has resorted to cheating to win. And then someone goes, surprised they are still allowed to play. Way to embarrass the country. So I did see a lot of comments, although Bev Priestman did get a suspension for one game. And I saw the interview where I think it was before she had actually gotten suspended. She goes, she's the coach. It all falls on her shoulders. As I remember from that interview, she didn't say whether or not she knew about the drone ahead of time. But, I just feel bad for the players and the fans. I do think cheating happens a lot overall. The Astros at the World Series a couple years ago banged on a trash can to tell them what pitch was coming.
I thought you were going to bring up the cheating in Russia, cheating in was skating.
The French judge who was cheating for the block voting.
No, what does that even mean?
Okay, so there's so much cheating going on.
Too many cheating scandals.
A lot of the cheating in chess, where the guy had something attached to him, given the plays.
Yes, all of the above.
So there is a lot of cheating, and it's unfortunate, but I think it is.
Oh, performance enhancing drugs? That's cheating.
Yeah. So there is a lot of cheating. But this is kind of wild, because you wouldn't think that Canada would want to cheat on New Zealand, because
cheat on them. They're dating.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to think, because there's a lot of other teams that are a little more concerning than New Zealand. But what are the people who are Canadian? What do you guys think about it? I feel bad for the fans, for the team, fans and the players, because they had nothing to do with it. I hope they didn't, but I do think there's a lot of cheating. And then someone said they might go to jail or something. And then I saw another part where there's like sex offenders and other offenders at the Olympics that they're allowed to compete. And I saw kind of that discourse, which I kind of agree with. This is bad, but you're not sexually assaulting somebody.
Yeah, what the hell is up with this?
But it's like has to do with like the ethics of sport. You have to have a clean sport. Even if you did sexually assault somebody, you can still it is kind of wild, but I do understand that thinking in a way. Very wild stuff. What does everyone think? Questions, comments down below. Takeaways from the first day. I thought US looked good.
Like they let Zambia's coach in. I mean, he's not in the Olympic Village, but they let him still coach with these allegations out against him and stuff. Like, it's wild.
Yeah, and I like the Zambian team a lot, but that coach, if it's true they said on the broadcast, that's not good.
Not at all.
Questions, comments down below. What do you think? What is your biggest takeaway? Next game for at least the U.S. I think all of them are on Sunday, but USA versus Germany on Sunday. That should be a very exciting game. We are looking forward to it. We're going to make some Chex Mix. Are we nerds?
We made some Chex Mix today, okay? Our own kind of little, just a mixture, you know.
It's very tasty. We'll talk to everyone later. Have a great night. Bye.
Bye.
Hey everyone, this is just a quick update about some more information about the drone situation with Team Canada and Bev Priestman, because it has just been announced that Canada Soccer has removed Bev Priestman. I'm going to have Sarah read this and then we'll talk about it.
Canada Soccer removes coach Bev Priestman after Spygate Olympic drone scandal suspension. Canada women's Olympic soccer team is under the microscope as new details have emerged about the depth of the use of drones to spy on the opposing teams, and led to a decision by the Canadian Olympic Committee to remove women's national team head coach Bev Priestman. The group announced the decision Thursday night and placed assistant coach Andy Spence at the helm of the women's team for the remainder of the Olympic tournament. Over the past 24 hours, additional information has come to our attention regarding previous drone use against opponents predating the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. Canada Soccer CEO and General Secretary Kevin Blue said in a statement that after the TSN report was published. In light of these new revelations, Canada Soccer has made the decision to suspend women's national soccer team head coach Bev Priestman for the remainder of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games and until the completion of our recently announced independent external review. Citing several sources, TSN reported that both the men's and women's national teams had engaged for years in efforts to film the closed-door training sessions of their opponents, including during the women's gold medal winning Olympic tournament in 2021. Whoa. The report noted several instances in which states of the men's side covertly filmed opposing teams' practices, including when a drone was used to record a U.S. practice ahead of the November 2019 match in Florida.
Yeah, so that's the news. I mean, these are very serious, not only allegations, but it looks like they have sources that are citing these instances. And if this is true, what it's saying right here, during the Olympic tournament in 2021, does that mean if they find that they were illegally recording practices of their opponents, Sweden, America, does that mean they have to have their gold medal revoked? I mean, it's happened in the past.
Yeah, that's wild. I'm shook.
Yeah, and has Bev Priestman always known about this? It sounds like it might have even predated her coming to the organization, but is she going to get fired now? I mean, these are very serious allegations. Cheating is serious, and we're going to talk more about it, later. But yeah, this has just come out that she's being sent home. And it sounds like it's just from Team Canada. I don't know if the IOC sent her home. It looks like it's just the Canadian authority who sent her home, but we'll talk about it. But that's a conversation. If they found out they were recording things they shouldn't have in the 2021 Olympics, you know what that means. Canada gets their gold medal taken away. That means America would get a silver. That's how it works.
Oh.
So I'm not against that.
So who gets the gold?
Sweden, because, yeah. Okay, what does everyone think? I just want to put that at the very end. But yeah, that is the update.